camera speed.
Alright, what's up guys? This is another episode of Camp Hutch. We're doing some more preview coverage for the Frag Cup. And today I got Mike, otherwise known as Hastro, from Team EnvyUs. So you guys ever play Golden Axe? The game is awesome. So if you guys haven't heard of Team EnvyUs, they're a pretty big deal. I mean, I'm probably just as good as them, if not better. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're the real deal. So I wanted to bring them on today and talk about some different tactics, differences between competitive gaming pubs, what kind of weapons we should see, and their experience on SIBO. So, enjoy.
Hello everybody. Today's episode of Camp Hutch is featuring Mike, otherwise known as Hastro, from Team EnvyUs. He's representing the SIBO ladder on the Frag Cup. Why don't you say what's up?
What's up everybody? Thanks for having me, Hutch.
No problem. So you are on Team EnvyUs. How long have you been playing with this team?
Well, I've actually been competing against the team for longer than I've been with them, but April of last year I had the chance to join the roster and start playing with the guys, and ended up doing really well in competition recently, and everything has kind of been smooth ever since. We've been sticking together. And
you're rocking the M4 in competitive gameplay. In COD 4, you didn't see a lot of M4s. I ran with M4s sometimes when I was playing competitively, just because I was horrible with an M16. That was my excuse for using it. But why are you seeing more full auto instead of burst fire autos being used?
Well, there's a lot of customization, in Modern Warfare 2, a lot more than you had in Call of Duty 4, where you saw a lot of M16 and MP5. So on this map in particular, is high rise. I pulled out the M4 initially as we're on offense here to kind of, hold down the trigger a little bit, get some shots into the other team's spawn, make sure that they can't really get out. Just basically lay down a lot of suppressive fire, make a lot of noise so that my teammates can break out and get good position on the bomb plants.
Sounds complicated.
Yeah.
See, I don't think too far ahead like that when I play this game. Like, I'm a self-professed pub star. Like, I have played competitive plenty in my day. I mean, I never really, the highest we got on one team I played was 62nd in the spring ladder or something like that for COD 4. But I don't have too much experience playing top level teams. What do you think is the big difference between playing pubs and playing competitive? Like, when you run in a pub, what do you see is it just 10 times more unpredictable in a pub, or I don't know if I have to keep asking the question. I'll keep talking forever unless you just stop me and start talking.
Well, pubs are just chaos, especially in Modern Warfare 2, because of all the kill streaks and, you got all kinds of stuff going on. So I would say the big difference is that the respawn delays in some of the game types and competitive game types, that's kind of a huge difference. You don't have as much going on, and you have a lot more time to think. But in pubs, it's, things are really unpredictable. I mean, you have people, coming up with all kinds of crazy strategy. There's a lot of corner sitting, or just, just really unpredictable play. That's really the big difference.
It's funny. Sometimes I'll talk about chess because I'm a nerd like that, and I'll compare it to COD 4 or the Call of Duty series. But a lot of the times, when you're playing somebody who's really experienced with chess, it's like you both sort of know what's going on at the same time. But when you play someone who's really inexperienced, sometimes it can actually throw you off because you've never seen these crazy, totally wild positions that you normally do. And I imagine the same applies for when you're playing competitive here.
Yeah, that's, it's crazy because that's the exact thing that I always compare it to. I always say it's virtual chess. So, what you're doing here is you're playing against experienced players in a competitive setting, and, at that point, it really comes down to the other team focusing on the objective that's in the game, whereas in pubs, people don't really mind the objectives too much. They just played for their own kind of benefit. So, you're dealing with teamwork here and a strategy, and it's one of those things that creates a big difference.
So how important do you think kill-death ratio is in general? In an objective game type.
Well, in the competitive aspect, it really doesn't mean a thing. At the end of the game, it's who wins, and that's what matters. And, that's why I was saying it's kind of personal benefit in public games. You're just kind of going after your high score or trying to do well, get a good kill-death ratio. But really, in the competitive setting, it's all about winning the game. So, I've seen teams go double negative all the way through, but still win the match in the demolition game because they focus on planting the bombs and defending the bombs. So, that's kind of the issue when you're dealing with competitive teams.
So talk to me about two things real quick here before the video wraps up. Why are you using the FAMAS instead of the M16, and why are you using the PP2000 instead of the Glock?
Well, this is, like I said, this is a little bit older of a match. So this is kind of back before I discovered the Raffica as this is my pistol. I've been using that a lot lately. But I've stuck with the FAMAS here instead of the M16 just because it has a little bit of faster rate of fire.
Yeah.
And, I'm more of like an objective support player, so I lay down a lot of, like I said, suppressing fire, or, I make a lot of noise, and I'm the guy that's rushing around a lot and calling out things to my teammates and just making sure that we're communicating. So, here I switch to the FAMAS on defense as opposed to the M4 because, I have a lot more leadway to sit back and pick people off instead of having to make a push for the bomb plants.
Okay, two things. Who's your biggest rival on the CEVO ladder, and what's your prediction for the tournament here?
All right, well, CEVO is just ridiculously stacked. I mean, in my opinion, you have 3 or 4 of the top 5 teams coming off of the CEVO ladder. So our big rival is Fear. Obviously, if you've paid attention to Modern Warfare competitively, you have Fear and EnvyUs. I mean, top 2 teams, always doing battle, always placing high in events. And you got to throw a shout out to Mob Dynasty on the CEVO ladder. That's made up of some EIO players. And there are a couple other teams, TVA, Victory Made Simple. If I had to call it, I would say it's going to come down to Dynasty from Mob, Fear, and ourselves.
All right, well, thanks for coming on. Good luck in the tournament, and thanks for sharing your gameplay with us.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Take it easy.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter. There you'll find the latest updates from our premier directors and the Machinima Respawn team.